Margate.
What? You were talking about Margate over in Baltimore?
Yep.
I love Margate.
Where was Margate?
Margate. That was where like Ray Moore used to live. Right?
Oh, that's Margate?
Like Timonium.
Dude, I know that area. That's like where I... Dude, how did I not even remember that? That's ridiculous. Anyway.
And then there was a rain.
Well, we're gonna get real nice right now. Let me get the deal going on here. And then, we're just gonna be so nice. Because we are, in fact, the Sportstronauts.
Oh, get it.
Live and direct.
We're
From
in
Hollywood, California studios in Orlando, Florida.
We're in an Hollywood studio in California.
Broadcasting live and direct as always. Thank you. Ow! Yep, that's right. We are indeed the Sportstronauts. We are back at it with another round of exploring the world of sports and the universe it's in.
That's how we do.
All right. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm great.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Patinella, everybody.
Thanks.
So
it's been an interesting weekend. We had a lot of sports deal going on there.
a couple deals happened.
We had a lot of interesting shit happen.
So what happened? Let's go over it.
Well, I think first and foremost on everybody's mind is the NFL playoffs.
Mm-hmm. So, any takeaways?
I mean, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is that, once again, we got a Manning v. Brady.
Yeah.
Or a Brady v. Manning. Actually, It's really Manning v. Brady since it's in Denver.
Yep. Well, first of all, let me just start by saying that Carolina-Seattle game, Tale of Two Halves game, Seattle just got their ass kicked, but I give them credit for hanging in there because they fought back and they made a game of it. But I mean, was that just Carolina being so good that they just smoked them and then they just fucked off for the second half? Or do you think that was just Seattle got their shit together?
I think Seattle got their shit together, and I think if the game was 70 minutes, they would have won.
Yep.
I think that's what the deal is.
They just ran out of time. Well, they only played one half.
Yeah, Carolina dismantled them in the first
but then
half.
mentally speaking, Carolina took the foot off the gas because they're done. They're lying on the ground bleeding to death. Like, how are they gonna...
They knew.
Like the Revenant, you know what I mean?
They knew there was... Exactly. I have not seen that...
Spoilers.
I have not seen that program.
Spoilers a lot. Hey, spoilers, it's history. He gets eaten by a bear, so...
Prove it.
And then the movie ends. About 20 minutes into the movie. It's a great movie.
Jesus Christ.
Where's our guest? We're supposed to have a guest on today.
Yeah, he's out there roaming the halls.
He's
scamming on girls. On young girls.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joaquin, the intern, decided to show up today.
Yeah, Felipe told me that Joaquin was going to be... Hey!
Applause.
Can you guys hear me on this thing?
Yeah.
No, we can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Juan Margus.
Margus, can you please join the circle and sit way closer?
Guys.
Mark, spell your name and list your college affiliation.
Mark, M-A-R-C as in cool. It's
Mark,
it's
speak
it's
the
French.
interphone.
It's French.
I don't hear it anymore. My headphones.
Dahlgren?
M-A-R-C, the spelling.
Mark.
But I'm not French.
But Stansberry is Mexican, though.
Inglés.
Mark.
Rosie, yeah, I don't hear anything.
I hide my nationality behind names that aren't associated with it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay. No, you're good.
Try that, Kev. See if you can hear you.
Doesn't matter. We're moving on.
Kev.
9.
Is it working?
Yeah, we're good. I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, so we got a little sidetracked there. We were talking about Peyton Manning
NFL, yeah.
and Tom Brady. What do you know about those guys? What can you tell us?
I can tell you that both of them are cheaters, now that we know that.
Okay. So, you're a firm believer in the HGH deal?
I have 100%.
Okay.
I mean, he's claiming that his wife is taking HGH. Come on, nobody does that. Him and Roger Clemens are the only ones.
You don't know what goes on in that house.
I mean...
It could be a 50 Shades of, Manning situation over there. Like,
Kelly, please hides my
like
HGH.
I'll tell you that the Pats are definitely going to crush the Broncos this weekend.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
There's a lot to that, but the defense of the Broncos is pretty... The defense of the Broncos is great.
What?
They got they're pretty much the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, but the Steelers almost beat them though without Tony Brown.
I'd argue Carolina's defense might even be better than
Going to be sans Jared Allen.
Yeah, that's true.
No Jared Allen.
He's dragging around.
Yeah, but they picked him
He's
up.
old, but he is. I mean,
They got Luke Kuechly. It's all they need.
Kuechly. They got the
They
Kuechly.
got Kuechly.
Thomas Davis Sr.
Thomas Davis,
Fire plug. They
first
got-
team All Pro.
Bro.
Same with
They
Kuechly.
got Ted Ginn, so they're good.
Teddy's.
He's
Fast
actually
as
doing-
shit.
He's actually doing well.
Yeah.
I picked him up in fantasy like 2 years ago. And I fucking
Dominating.
swore him
Dude,
off.
Teddy.
So you guys picking Carolina, and you're picking Patriots.
Well, I don't want to just run past Arizona. We're gonna do our full predictions in another episode, but right now,
It's
just
gonna be
very
later in the
basically-
week, dog.
Very basically, you
Initial
can't look,
lean.
You can't look past Arizona, but yes, my initial lean is to Carolina v. New England in a rematch of the greatest supers of
Jake
all
Delhomme.
time.
Jake Delhomme.
Oh my god, it was that was
Jake,
amazing.
daylight come and you got a Delhomme.
I have a good stat for you guys.
What?
Let's hear it, dog.
The Cardinals' victory over the Packers on Saturday was the first playoff win for Carson Palmer in his career.
Wow,
That's right, dog.
I remember hearing that. Wow. So you don't know anything about Carson Palmer?
Graduate of Santa Margarita High,
Where's that, in college?
Santa Margarita, California.
Where's
Call
that?
your county.
3-year starter for USC Trojans.
Is that in San Diego?
Like Orange County, I think, or maybe northern San Diego County or something,
Wow.
something like that.
What do
Around
you-
there,
What do you know him because he went to college?
college.
You went to USC college?
Yeah, I gotta say, man, he's had a long. He has a long career.
He's pretty fucking
He's like
underrated.
borderline like
He's
Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame at
Famer.
this
He's a
point.
Hall of, I think he's a Hall of
You guys
Famer.
think he's Hall of Fame?
Carson Palmer?
Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Look at
He
his
just got
stats,
his
dude.
first. You just said he just got his. Yes, that you just said he just got his first playoff win.
Well, let me ask you a
How's he,
question.
how's
Is
he
the
a
Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame
But
based
you're an-
only on what you do in the playoffs, or is it based on your career?
Think I think playoffs should be almost half of it.
Well,
'Cause
they
that's
should
why
be
you
weighted.
play.
They should be
But
weighted.
it's a team game, you know. I mean,
It
he
is
was
a team game.
like he was the first player that
And
turned
Barry
around the Bengals.
Sanders and shit like that.
That's true.
Dan Marino's in there.
Dog
He
ran.
really was the first person to turn the Bengals around from nothingness.
From the Bungles
They're
to
still-
being Who Day.
They're still the Bungles.
They're the Bungles, but they
Let
still
that-
got Who.
let's
Now
be
they have
clear
Who
about
Day.
that.
They have Who Day Nation.
That is.
Yeah.
Which one came first though?
Saints or the Who Day?
Yeah.
Or wait, are the Saints Who
Who
Day?
Dat
Or
Who
who dat?
Dat?
It's got to be who dat.
I'll be honest with you. I heard
I heard the Saints
Who
first.
Dat in a Lil Wayne song before Who Dat said they're gonna beat Lil Wayne. I heard that before I heard Who Dat.
But Who Dat is who that gonna think they gonna beat them Bengals?
Right, and he adjusts.
Right? That's the way it went, dog.
Cool in the gang, right? That's what it
Who
is,
the
right?
Cool in the
fuck knows,
gang,
dude? The
dog.
Bungles are the worst, dude. They're terrible.
Yeah, but-
JC Chazé
But
in the gang.
so after he left the Bengals, though, he took the Raiders to 8-8 at a time when they were awful.
Oh, they were so bad.
I mean, yeah.
Carson Palmer
let's say
is one of
he's
the
got success
like
this
watching him
season,
over the
next
last
season.
X amount of years. Holy shit!
What I'm saying is, if he has like 2 more seasons like
Right.
he had this one,
He's a
an all.
guaranteed.
Then, yeah,
But
I
not
agree.
right now. But if
No,
he
I
has,
think
like,
he is
1 or
right
2
now.
more.
I think he is
I think
right
he's
now.
borderline, but he's not going to.
Dude, then what about Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco has no chance of ever making it to the Hall of Fame.
He's got a fucking ring and an MVP.
So?
I'm just saying. Why
Oh,
not?
okay.
No, seriously.
Oh, okay.
No. That's
Well, no, I think here's the deal. How many seasons has Joe Flacco thrown for 4,000 yards? 0.
Like, yeah.
How many seasons has Joe Flacco thrown over 30 or more touches? 0.
Mm-hmm.
How many seasons?
Is that true? No.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Well, but what if late in his
All that
career-
matters is postseason record, right?
Yeah, but look
I'm
at what
saying
he's
Joe
done.
Flacco-
Look at his post. Yeah. I mean,
Joe Flacco bet on himself, and I cannot fault him for that.
Wait a minute.
He bet on himself in that contract year when they won the Natty Champ, and he was
Yeah.
the Super Bowl MVP, and he fucking went ridiculous, right? He threw like 12 touches,
Right.
all
He
that.
also had able hands and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
he had
You know what I
Q
mean?
Bolden, and
He also had a defensive breakdown by the Broncos when Jacoby Jones got behind them.
Call-
well,
you
but
will,
that
but they were
ball
still in
flew a
position.
little bit. That was weird.
No, I'm
That
giving
was
him
a
credit.
tough
They were
call,
still in
but,
position to get it
dog,
done.
Yeah, no, I give him credit. I'm just
You
saying.
want to bring luck into it.
Well,
There's a
all right,
lot of
well, let
luck
me
that
say
goes
this.
in.
His luck is in the air. I mean, come on.
There's Andrew Luck. I mean,
Who,
Hey,
Luck?
let me guys ask your honest opinion. Was that pass interference on Ed Reed versus Crabtree on those 2 plays
in the
at
Super
end?
Bowl,
Yeah.
In your unbiased opinion.
Yeah, it was.
I'd have
I
to
think it
watch.
was.
I'd have to watch it again to
think it
make
was.
a very sincere opinion.
But they're not going
it
to
might
call.
have
They're
been.
not going to call that at the end of the Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? They're not going to.
Look, man, they turned the lights out on him. Okay.
Yeah.
Well-
Beyond, you say what you will about Bebe, but Bay.
Was that the last time she performed?
Yep.
Oh wow.
And meanwhile, no, it wasn't Bay. It was the NFL.
Yeah.
The game was getting out of hand, and they
Look.
said, "Well, hold on a second. We need to make this a little bit more competitive."
Do you honestly believe that
Yes.
the NFL had a
Why
won
did
that?
the Ravens trade
they had a generator
Anquan
breakdown.
Bolden for a 6th round draft pick.
Because he was asking, he was in a contract year and he won like $10 million.
he just was owed $6 million or something, and he wanted to them to honor that, and they wouldn't. That's basically what it came down to.
Yeah.
He didn't want more money. He wanted what was his contract.
Yeah, no, I'm not faulting him, but I'm not saying that doesn't mean there was a conspiracy for John to like pay back Jim
to his brother.
Money. No, there was a conspiracy
to his brother
about the owner. Who's the owner of the Niners?
Jed York.
York, right?
York, man.
Ned.
Well, he's not actually the owner. He's
Ned
the
York.
CEO.
Well, he's the group.
Whatever.
He's the
whoever
group.
makes whoever the fucking money behind that team apparently knows the dude that is behind the gas and electric company in New Orleans, and like that's where the rumors came from, that he made it happen. He was like, whoa, you know, that's why they couldn't figure out.
I had never heard that. I'm sorry, I'd never heard that. That's
I mean, that's
loose change.
I believe that. I guess I didn't
crazy,
really look
dog.
at it
Just,
that
I
way.
don't, dude. I have no facts to substantiate.
Well,
that,
I mean,
that's interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, he's
I've
like
never
friends
heard that
with the guy
before.
or something, and
Well,
so that's where that came from.
Let me tell you this.
Why,
Do you
Mark?
guys remember it was either a Sunday night or Monday night game when the Niners hosted the Steelers several years ago at Candlestick and the lights went out in the stadium and there was like a 10-minute delay? Do you remember that?
Bro, no, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Do
I
you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah. So they were trying to
remember
get a new stadium and they were making the argument that
They couldn't
Candlestick
handle
was so
it.
dilapidated it didn't have the infrastructure.
Couldn't handle
I
it.
believed at that point that they did that blackout intentionally so that they would then get
Look,
public support for
listen,
financing.
we don't want to go down that conspiracy road because I got conspiracy. Listen, I got conspiracies about college sports that you would love to hear that may or may not be true.
Okay.
Such as, not this past year, but the year before that, Wisconsin losing in the Big Ten championship. And you know what the reason is?
No.
They share all that fucking money.
Who?
That's why. The
Big
conferences. The conferences share all that money
Yeah.
that they get for going to the bowls and the Natty Champ. And Wisconsin said to themselves, look, we're not going to the Natty Champ if we win. But if Ohio State wins, they're going to the Natty Champ for sure.
Wow.
That stands to make
that's
us an extra
I've got
$4 to
some
$5
foremost Ohio
million
State
dollars.
experts that I could bring in on this, but they're not here.
Thanks.
We're not
So,
live.
at any rate, and that, I just wanted to throw that out there. And Mark, you have some poignant thoughts on college versus pros, and I don't know if those are very mainstream or not, but we'd like to get your thoughts.
Let me ask a question. Do you guys play sports growing up?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Growing up through high school?
Yeah.
Do you have pride in like where you're from and the teams you play with?
course.
Do you like to think
No,
that,
absolutely
Do you like
not.
to think the players on your team and your opponents growing up were good, not just for your area or your state, but for the country as well?
No, I don't believe that whatsoever.
Wait, what? Like G.I. Joe?
Well, all right. Well, what I'm saying is
Get to your point, man.
what I'm saying is if you have pride in your region, you should be a college sports fan and not be into pro sports.
Why do you say that?
Look at a roster. Look at Cal UC Berkeley. Look at their roster, right?
Yeah,
I'm from the East Bay.
Where they draw their recruits from, you're talking about?
Right.
I got you, but there's been other people from our region that have gone on to other places and done well.
Right, but what I'm saying is if you're rooting for the Ravens, how many of those fuckers are of those players?
They're not. It's a business, and I understand that. We live in a capitalistic society where there's tons of businesses, and I enjoy that business model.
Well, I'm not saying
Like-
you shouldn't be a pro sports fan, but do you follow college?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just feel more impassioned the further away I got from college, the more impassioned I got about the NFL, and vice versa. When I was in college, I didn't even care about the Ravens, in all honesty, which also coincided with them being bad, so it worked out, right? So,
Yeah.
not that I was bandwagoning it. I was at Virginia Tech, and at the time, Virginia Tech was a top-ranked team in the country, and it was a fun time to be in a Division I school.
Marcus Vick.
So, and he was going to parties, and he
You were there when Marcus Vick was
yeah,
there?
dude, he came to one of our parties, our
Damn.
rugby parties. He just showed up, and there was a kid filming chicks, and this was before.
Wait,
he got
you
in
were
trouble
actually?
for this.
I heard about this in the news. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
sorry.
this is what he got in trouble for. But he was known for doing it at parties, right? So this kid was basically impersonating him, and he was like walking around the party with a bottle of Jack or whatever, the captain, whatever the hell it was, and a video camera, and he was telling chicks that he was Marcus Vick, and drunk Virginia Tech, like Southwestern Virginia white chicks were like, okay, like he was some black kid, you know what I mean? Honestly. And so he comes into the party with like 8 dudes, rolls up in like 2 Escalades with like 8 dudes with him, and then immediately someone. I remember he walked right past me. And I had a bowl in my hand. I was like, "Hey man, you wanna hit this?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good." And he continued into the party. And then a couple minutes later, there was a scuffle, and some dude jumped out of the first story window that like it wasn't high, but it was up. Like at least a story. You know
He's jumping.
That's pretty sketchy for just jumping out.
Absolutely, because he didn't want to get his ass kicked.
What is he, Robert Indici or something?
Robert Indici.
He knew that Marcus Vick was there, and everyone's like, "Yo, there's this dude." You know what I mean? And they were on it, but he refused. I can substantiate that Marcus Vick did not smoke weed then at that moment, so I can say that he's a man of good character. If I was in a court of law,
But I, on the other hand,
he turned it down.
Can substantiate that Marcus Vick was flipping bags out of his apartment building.
I don't doubt it, dude. He got busted for literally getting chicks drunk and having sex with them. So I'm sure he's probably into. I'm sure he was probably doing other unsavory stuff as well.
Yeah, that was his.
If that was like what he was doing on the weekends, like he was not practicing and going to school. That's for sure.
Wow.
Fuck him.
Did Marcus Vick, did he play basketball too?
I don't recall.
Not for tech.
I bet he would have been so good though.
Why do you say that, dog?
I thought that he was on the basketball team for some reason.
Do you bet he also fought dogs?
I bet he at least watched.
I bet he did.
Bet he at least watched.
I always thought about
because what I had heard.
As soon as that story broke, I was like, I guarantee you Marcus Vick was all up in that.
I mean, he's only a couple years younger,
dude.
right?
His Michael funded him. He gave him all the shit he had, and when you saw him around campus, you knew it was him. Like
he was driving.
Flousing.
He was driving a fatty
glisten,
Mercedes with
flouse.
AT Alien Georgia license plates.
Like Marcus Vick. It doesn't rhyme.
Thanks.
Was
That's
there
him. I mean, he knew. They were involved.
What if he didn't go to Vautech? What if he had gone to like Virginia?
University of Maryland.
How crazy would that have been?
Yeah, Rutgers.
Rutgers.
no, what if he had gone to like a rival?
A prestige.
Him and Ray Rice would have been great.
What's Virginia Tech's main rival?
Virginia.
Yeah. Imagine if he had gone to Virginia.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. That would have been awesome, actually.
Yeah.
There was a good rape. There's a good rape culture there. He would have fit in well.
There's a good cocaine and rape culture there.
According to Rolling Stone.
We can't get into that.
We can't get into that because there's some very personal Baltimore issues with all that. I'm not going to be going into that.
We're not going to get into that.
No, sir. But I will tell you what, though. What is today?
January.
Is today a holiday?
18th.
It's Martin.
Yep.
MLK Day,
it's Martin. That's so bad. I don't mean that. Martin Luther King.
Martin
Luther King Jr. He walked among us.
Let me tell you something about Martin Luther King. What do you think Martin Luther King would say to the blank lives matter?
I don't know. I think he would have been in favor of it.
If you're going to talk about it, just say it.
I think he would have said, no, I don't think X lives matter. I don't think Y lives matter. I think all lives matter.
That's going to be a point of contention amongst many an individual. Marcus knows all about it. He's from Berkeley, basically, so he knows all about it.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm not involved in the scene, though.
I think Martin Luther King Jr. the third.
Rachel Dozoval, or whatever that chick's name was. Marcus knows all about her.
Her? I don't know who that is. Rachel? Dove?
The white black chick.
She was the head of the NCAA.
Oh, I know who that is.
She had a big reveal.
On CNN?
She had a big reveal like Caitlyn Jenner, but it did not go as well. It was a lot.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I mean, this is probably the second biggest day in the NBA each season. Christmas Day and MLK Day, right?
Yeah, dude, we're talking
what do you
about
mean?
MLKJ
I pronounce
Day.
the word Huge as huge.
All right, so it's a Donald Trump impersonation right here.
Thanks.
Okay, good. We saved our asses. FCC is no longer on us about that. Guys, we dodged a big one. We did it. Guys, we did it.
Thanks.
So, anyway, that was a glorious Donald Trump impersonation that I am not blushing about.
Moving on.
So, what kind of drugs do you guys do?
I'm pretty clean.
I'm on high on life.
What about salvia or like any of that Chandler Jones shit? You guys into that?
None of that. Never done it.
Never
done it.
You know, listen, I'll be honest.
It's probably really fun. I've been to a concert or two. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, but so can you buy synthetic pot from like any head shop?
You get it from like a gas station, I think.
Really?
I'm almost positive.
You can get it from a gas station in Newark.
Is that just a loophole?
Any gas
What's
station.
going on?
It's like a tobacco product. I think.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's.
But it doesn't. Does it not actually have any THC in it? Like it's
no, it's something else. It's got like
salvia?
crack.
It's like salvia, dog.
But
Dahlgren?
it's
the
stronger than like
Dahlgren?
normal THC though, right?
So you know how they make meth?
well,
you know how they
it's-
make meth, right?
They cook it up, yeah.
And they like, you know, we've all seen Breaking Bad. They have a big sheet of it, right?
I
Well, they
actually
just
haven't
take like
I've never seen
Listerine
it
and
either.
like motor oil and like let it sit, and then there you go. This is synthetic like marijuana.
Why would you want to smoke that?
Exactly.
Because you're desperate.
Because you're Chandler Jones. You got
'Cause you're
nothing
making-
else
You
to do.
can't.
You're making $5
Maybe you're
million a
getting
year.
tested. Maybe you're getting tested.
But so you have the drive to get high that bad that you
Yes,
need to go
but I
to a
think
gas
at
station
that
and, like,
point, listen. I think
salvia.
if you want to get high that bad, I don't think you're going for synthetic marijuana. I think you are going for the PCP.
Oof.
I think you're going to eat it with
Here
an
we are.
egg.
We've
I think,
arrived at the point.
Listen, at a fish show in 1999 in Philadelphia,
You
Pennsylvania,
drop some names here. I'm excited right now, actually.
there was a young
Yeah.
man who had himself
Look at us,
an
we're gathering.
egg laced with the devil's PCP.
No. The devil's piping.
The devil's piping.
PVC.
The devil's PVC piping.
Exactly.
And that egg was eaten. It was consumed.
An egg?
An egg is
Are you talking about an egg? Like a bad egg?
egg, like a little boll weevil thinger.
That's bizarre.
And the egg was eaten. And from then on, this young man
the
was
Garden
not
of
able to
Eden.
control his bowel movements or bodily functions. Or
Wait, is this actually a true story here?
This is
I
a
don't
true
have
story.
the background here.
Is this
it-
the guy that ripped the tits off?
no,
Because I was just about to call you out for stealing that from Don Kraft. Any Dons out there remember Don
Yeah.
Kraft? Don Kraft used to tell
this
a
was at
pretty-
Fish. This was
Don Kraft used
You
to
mean
tell a pretty
December-
hefty story about PCP.
this was December the 11th, 1999.
Were you there?
It was my friend.
And what was your friend's name?
My friend's name was Sean.
Your friend wasn't even in college yet.
No,
Okay.
14 years old.
Okay.
Okay, and this friend Sean, my name is John. This person named Sean,
But you also run a Twitter handle called John Sean Music.
totally,
Is that still active at this point?
of course, totally incidental.
Sexually, in fact.
Sexual chocolate.
breeding at
There's
this point.
no coink. This is all coinky dink.
No, continue. I didn't mean to
Please.
blow it with my conspiracy. That's a conspiracy, by the way. John has nothing to do with John Sean Music. Anyway, it's all Sean. Go.
Please. The egg was eaten. Bowel movements were not able to be controlled.
was it a raw egg?
A show was missed.
Did he just like slurp out a raw egg with PCP in it?
It was consumed. It was eaten.
So bad.
It was edible. It was the incredible edible egg. And Fish went on to open with a hairy hood, first time since 1990.
Please, no great sports
And
talk
the other-
listeners are listening to Fish.
Well,
Besides us.
at any rate.
No one even knows.
And my sister, as a matter of fact, who happened to be also be at the show.
a matter of fagged.
Fags.
Dude,
Facts.
this Donald Trump
Fags.
impression is amazing.
And
Anytime you say
she was
something
with
bad,
her
it's just
friend
Donald Trump.
whose name was Mudge, and his ass
Got all fucked.
Thank you very much. Got
That's
all
who you
fucked up
created?
on the PCP as well,
Wow.
and fell down and smacked this motherfucker's face wide open, and had to go to the hospital to the emergency room, get stitches, and
Emergency.
Sounds
as
like
it
a
would
bad
happen,
night.
my sibling Natalia also missed the great show. So the bottom line is
R.I.P.
PCP in eggs is
PCP
dangerous.
equals R.I.P.
PCP in eggs equals
Wait, I
It's
thought-
dangerous.
almost as dangerous as injecting bong nuggets. So
Okay, listen, don't go there because that is too dangerous.
That's really dangerous.
Listen, we know the dangers of that
Yes,
marijuana.
the devil reefer. We know
I-
about
we
it. It's
don't-
killed millions.
I don't wanna be
so we
part
don't
of
need
it.
to get into
It's a
it.
gateway drug, you know? So
Yeah,
opens
it's
doors.
a gateway.
It's a gateway
to your-
drug to Sopes.
to hell and to your
To
grave.
Sopes.
Yeah, and to incest and genocide and,
Pues.
and murder and obviously cannibalism
Mm.
and harvesting organs.
So yeah, I mean, those are the dangers of the PCP. Chandler Jones, I suggest,
Like the Revenant.
you know, exactly.
It was all a
please.
PCP trip.
It was. It was actually a Persephone trip. Chandler Jones, stay off of the dust, my friend.
Good job, Chandler. Let me ask you guys a really quick question.
Let's hear
While
it.
I have
What do you
you
think?
guys all here.
What do you think?
It's
Go
popping
for
in my
it.
head. Do you think Charlie Sheen should have his career ended like Bill Cosby because he's been banging chicks and he's got HIV and he hasn't been telling them?
Nope.
Why? Because he's white?
Do you know
Happy
this?
Martin Luther King Day, bro. You're fucking racist. That's all I'm gonna say.
I might be racist. No, I'm not at all. But I
Racially
think
conscious.
No, but for real though, happy Martin Luther King Day.
Thanks.
The man needs to live on. We need to teach his dream to everybody.
Content of the character, not by the color of the skin. All right. That's what I'm saying.
I have a dream. You know what? I taught a little child, about 6 years old today, the meaning of Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and it was awesome. And that's what it's all about.
Was she great on that?
At Sportstronauts Twitter, at Sportstronauts whatever, Instagram, Facebook, all that shit.
Email.
Email. You can email us www.sportstronauts.com. We out. Say bye.
Sportstronauts@googlemail.com.
Thanks for
Good
having us.
seeing you guys. Yeah, appreciate it.
Marcus.
Thanks for having us.
Marcus, were you in this show today?
Thanks for. Yeah, this sounds nice.
So,